What's going on, you brothers? What is going on? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, with back-to-back classics, right? But before I go any further, right, brothers, can you tell me right now in the live stream chat, brothers, if you can hear me loud and clear, brothers, okay? Press a one in the chat right now if you brothers can hear me loud and clear. How is my audio right now, brothers? Am I coming in? Mayday, Mayday, officer down, officer down. What's going on, brothers? Can you hear me loud and clear, brothers? Who's in the building tonight? Okay, let me check my live stream chat real quick. Jonathan Hahn, I see you, brother. Thank you very much. It's awesome. He also is in the house. Just so I make sure the audio is clear. The Royal Colonel Sanders, thank you, brother. I think I know who you are. So welcome, bro. So we got 2 1s. That's okay. So let's get the live stream started. So welcome, brothers, to another class live stream. Welcome back, Lee Beeman. Been a minute. Regarding Tanzanian women, I want to say a huge thank you to all those who have supported the movement and the channel over the past almost 10 years I've been doing this. It has been greatly appreciated. And of course, welcome aboard the new viewers and subscribers. I accept and I embrace you with open arms, okay? Brothers, when you come in, please hit the like button. Likes are very important. Comment, and of course, show me some love by hitting the cash apps, super chats, copying the merch, and joining the Patreon diamond tier if you want to hear the exclusive version of this stream or any other incredible insight into foreign women that's not PG for YouTube, and of course, financial help, etc., etc. So let's get straight into it. Mr. Johnny, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much, Johnny. So, Mr. Johnny, before we go into Tanzanian women and your trip there, do you mind giving us a brief background as to who you are, where you're from in America, and anything special about you, brother?
Would be glad to. So, born and raised in the U.S., I'm originally from New Jersey, which borders New York. Went to school there, majored in engineering. After that, moved down to North Carolina, got a couple more degrees, and then was recruited out of graduate school by a tech company. So I'm in tech, and I'm living out and working for said tech company on the West Coast. Traveling has not always been a passion of mine. It was introduced to me via family, and after having traveled for a few years from 2017 up until about right before the pandemic, I hadn't really been considering traveling as a means towards generating, dating prospects and marriage prospects. It wasn't until I started consuming more manosphere content and after having observed some of the changes that I saw in the dating market and not really being satisfied with some of those changes, I decided to kind of open my borders. And so now I'm kind of anytime I go to a new country, another continent, I'm kind of the mindset of, hey, might run into my future wife or my next long-term girlfriend. So we'll see.
Fantastic. Lord willing, Johnny. Okay, it's coming very soon, brother. Okay, keep the faith, brother.
Yes, sir. I'm believing.
Fantastic. So let's get straight into it, brother. So you were in Tanzania recently, a country where I've heard a lot of good things about, but couldn't really get someone to provide me the intel specifically about Tanzania, which is great that you've been there. Where is Tanzania? Is that in North Africa, East Africa? Where is that, brother?
It's a great question. Tanzania is in East Africa. East Africa. I want to say probably more like Southeast Africa, borders the Indian Ocean, and their culture's a mix of Africans, Arabs, and Indians.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's not really like a black native land because of where it's based. We have different groups of people there, but it's a majority black country.
It's majority black. Yes, sir.
Fantastic, brother. And where were you specifically in Tanzania? Were you in the capital or were you somewhere else?
I was specifically in Dar es Salaam, which is a coastal city. It's kind of like a port city.
Okay, awesome, brother. And let me ask you this: why did you decide to go to Tanzania and not somewhere like Japan?
That's another fantastic question. So, I Africa in general was not really on my radar until about, I want to say, a year and a half ago, when I joined the late Kevin Samuels mixed group and ran into a few brothers that had actually been to the continent and had been to a few countries on the continent. So I was able to connect with some like-minded professional Black men in that group, and one of them was specifically focused on Tanzania and was in the process of relocating to Tanzania. And since then, he's already relocated there and been there for about a year. And in the time that he's been there, he's had nothing but great things to say about it. Nothing but good reports in terms of the food, the culture, the cuisine, the woman, business opportunities, low cost of living. And so he's kind of basically selling it to me and several other brothers that we're all like mutually connected with. And so I decided, okay, well, I haven't been to Africa yet. I definitely want to visit not just the continent, but a few countries on on the continent. How about I go here, since he's already based out of here, and he's kind of like got a boots on the ground type of situation there. So that's kind of why I went to Tanzania.
Awesome, brother. Fantastic. So let's get straight into the meat of things, right? Let's grind through the meat and find the liver, the heart to eat. Okay. Right. So, um, so my first question to you, brother, is right. The most important question in the history of mankind, right, is do Tanzanian women check heavy for Western brothers?
It's a privilege to be able to answer this question, because I've heard you ask it 100 times of hundreds of people at this point. The answer is emphatically and unequivocally yes. They are checking for brothers, American brothers, British brothers, brothers not from there. They are checking and they are choosing without a doubt.
And why are they checking for brothers? Tell me why, brother. What is the reason why they're checking for brothers?
I would say the reason why they're checking for brothers is really just based off of the response that me and other guys have gotten when we've gone out there and just intermingled with the people there. Just when we're at the bars, restaurants, clubs, when we're out and about, we get looks. Not looks of like fear and disgust, but looks of, oh well, who are you and what are you doing here? You know what I mean? We've been in situations where we've been approached by some of the women there. So it's based off of that I would say, yeah, they're definitely checking. They're definitely out here choosing. And anytime they run across a brother from the States or from the UK.
So you mentioned that Tanzania has different groups of people there. Uh, so I'm
Correct.
guessing it's definitely black men out there, right? And what other races of women are there in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam? And are those other groups of women checking for brothers as well, apart from the black women?
Ah, okay. So because it's sort of like a low key tourist spot, Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar, there are other groups of women out there. Uh, there's definitely plenty of European women out there. And I would say probably predominantly from Western Europe and the UK. Just going by what I observed, uh, are they checking for brothers? That's I don't know if that's sort of like a cut and dry yes or no. I think that they do. I think that they can tell if you're like not from there, like if you're American, just by how you're dressed, the way you talk. Um, I think that they'd probably be open to dealing with um, American brothers, UK brothers, Western European brothers in general. Um, but I would say, the native population there, they seem to be checking a little bit more.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, bro. Great, great answer there. So, next question for you, brother, is feminism. Right? I think it is a given that feminism has played a part in the downfall of Western society in America and UK, and certain parts in Canada, Australia, etc., etc. To me, it's poison, the worst thing since the nuclear bombs hit. But that's for another discussion. So, so I'm gonna ask this, brother, right? Is feminism a problem, right, amongst Tanzanian women in Tanzania?
I would say it's not an issue. Definitely not at this point in time, not at this juncture. And the reason why I say that is just going off of the demeanor of the woman, going off of how they interact with the men. Uh, it's not it's not an issue, and the reason why I say that is because in all of the women that I dealt with, uh, and all of the folks that I know there personally, uh, that have dealt with the women there, they're very, very feminine. Uh, they're very soft spoken. They're very, very respectful. Um, I would say, if you were to go out to a strip mall or shopping center, right, on a typical Saturday or Sunday, you would see uh, men and women walking hand in hand, lots of couples. And not only that, you would see quite a few families walking around, right, with one, two, three kids, right? And the reason why I throw that out there is because here in America, right, where feminism is, widespread, it's well entrenched, it pervades every fabric of our existence, is because with feminism here in the West, right, you just don't see that to the same degree. You don't see as many couples. You don't see as many families. You don't see uh, uh, a lot of people having a lot of children. There's more of like a tug of war and a tussle between men and women, at least here in the States, right? So it's like, wherever there is feminism, right, and women are totally empowered in everything and have the choice to do whatever they want, right, you see the breakdown of the family, right, you see the friction that results between men and women, right, um, so high divorce rate, right, no marriage rate, right, reproduction rate is super, super low. These are things that are associated with very, very feminist centered societies. And you just don't see that in Dar es Salaam. And if you were to go out to any of the other cities, which are likely going to be smaller, more rural, it's probably going to be even more so that you're not going to be able to really detect or pick up on traces of it.
Fantastic,
So
bro.
yeah, it's
This
not
is
it's not a problem.
awesome. Thank you, brother. Um, Next question for you, brother, is now let's speak more about looks. To me, looks are very important, right? Good looking chick, got her affairs in order. That's what men want. How good looking are Tanzanian women? Would you say they are top tier in the higher ranks of black women in terms of body shape, in terms of facial looks? Are they more good looking than black American women? Break it down for me, brother.
I would say they're definitely up there in terms of being able to compete, probably with any country's demographic of black women, right? Uh, I I wouldn't I wouldn't say it's like neck and neck with like black women in America. I would say they outdo black women in America by leaps and bounds because many of them are in shape, right? Obesity is not, and I'm not trying to be super harsh, but I'm trying to be objective here, right? Many of the women there don't have obesity as a problem. And the reason why I say that is just going based off of my general observation. A lot of them have to walk around, a lot of them are carrying things, right? So they're kind of exerting themselves on a daily basis, right? Balancing things on their head. You gotta have good core muscles, I think, to be able to carry something on your head for long periods of time. If you're walking around every day to go to work, to go to the supermarket, to take your kids to school, it's going to be, and especially if the food that you're consuming is not processed, it's fresh, right? There aren't a lot of bad ingredients. Uh, it's going to be really hard for you to blow up in weight. So that's number one. Two, a lot of them have natural faces, right? So that you're not working with, you're not interacting with women that have tons and tons, pounds and pounds of makeup on. You know why? Because they can't really afford it. They can't afford all the makeup. They can't afford all the plastic surgery, right? So you've got basically women that look very pleasant. Obviously, there's some average looking women there, but there's plenty of above average looking women, um, and they're in shape. And I would say, based off of that, yeah, they're beautiful. A lot of them are beautiful, and I'd say they're pretty competitive, like on a global stage, on a global scale.
This is amazing. This is incredible so far. Hold on, brother. Shout out to Mr. Dark Ninja for the $199 super chat. Thank you, Dark Ninja, for support. Much appreciated. Don't sleep on African sisters. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I definitely agree with that. Thank you, brother. So, next question for you, Mr. Johnny, is language. Is English enough to speak over there with a woman in Dar es Salaam, or have we got to learn Swahili? Is that what they speak out there? Break it down for me, brother.
Sure. So they do. So the main language is Swahili, spoken in Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. But if you're interacting with or dealing with, either men or women that are about under the age of probably maybe 35, 30, they're going to know English. They're going to be able to understand it at least moderately well, if not well. So you don't have to learn Swahili in order to interact and have meaningful interactions and relationships with the people there.
Okay, awesome, brother. Awesome. Thank you very much. Next question for you now, brother, is in terms of, jealousy towards black men. Like, we've spoken about this separately. You did very well there with the woman in Tanzania, right? How did the Tanzanian native men take that when they're seeing a black American man doing very well with their woman? Was there any animosity and jealousy towards you, or was it all good? No problemo, my brother. Break it down for me.
There's no problemo, no problemo. There was no animosity. There was no anger towards me, and there might have been two reasons for that. All right. So the first one I would say is I'm a black guy, right? And when I go over there, I kind of blend in to some degree, not completely because of probably how I'm dressed. I'm wearing certain clothing that might be associated with, like, the West and whatnot, certain brands that they might not have access to. But that's number one. I'm black. And I was mistaken for being Tanzanian. I think at least once, if not more than once, someone walked up to me and started speaking Swahili, thinking that I was Tanzanian. So when I'm interacting with the woman there and getting phone numbers and, trying to, generate some sort of romantic interaction with some of the women there, the men there, they're not looking at me and thinking, oh, that's a foreigner trying to take a potential spouse that otherwise would be available to me. To them, I might just be like another Tanzanian dude. That's number one. Number two, they're very, very non-confrontational and laid back folks. out there, right? So if you've heard of the phrase Hakuna Matata, right, which means no
Yes.
worries, right? We know that from the Lion King. That is Swahili for no worries. And a lot of Tanzanians in general, they're not looking to fight or get in a confrontation with folks. If you bump into them, it's not like bumping into like a brother out here in the States where you bump into him on a Monday, and he's about ready to throw hands with you. You know what I mean? It's not like that out there. They're very peaceful, they're very laid back, they're very non-confrontational. So if I were to so if I stood out as a foreign black guy and was talking to some of the women out there, I don't think that they would approach me with any kind of animosity, and I wasn't approached with any kind of animosity. So yeah.
This is fantastic, brother. This is fantastic. So next question for you, and brothers who are questioning the race of the brother speaking. This brother is a black man, okay? And I think we need to get past the point that all black men speak the same. We all speak hood. Hey, yo, Sean, man, I'm telling you, man. Now, you have to understand that when you're a well-read, educated black man, you're gonna speak differently. When you read, when you're more knowledgeable, he works in tech, right? You can't expect to speak like the average dude from the hood. Okay, so this is a black man, and let's break that stereotype that all black men sound the same. Okay, we all don't sound like we're from the hood, from New York and Marcy Projects, Brooklyn, Heights, okay? So
You're cracking me up right now, man.
so let's be educated in our thinking, brothers. Okay, not all black men sound the same. Now, question for you now, brother, is dealing with different women at once, right? When you are out there, is polygamy an accepted thing in Tanzania? Can one guy have 5 different girlfriends, but let's say the chick can't have 5 different boyfriends? We don't do that open relationship things, but we do, as a guy, we want multiple women. Is that accepted there in Tanzania, or does the woman you're dealing with, your main chick, want a monogamous relationship?
That's a fantastic question. So you can move polygamously out there. That, to some degree, is accepted. And the reason why I say that is because I've got, a couple of contacts there that have run across Tanzanian women that are okay with sharing you, provided you are handling your business on her end, right? You're seeing to her needs, you're taking care of her, right? If you're taking care of business and you're upfront about it and you let her know, hey, like, you're my main chick, but are you okay with side chicks? I'm the type of guy that likes to have something on the side. If she's open to it, she'll generally say something, yeah, provided you're taking care of things on your end, right, and my needs are met, sure. So you can find that out there. Now, not every woman is going to be okay with that, right? Which is why you want to talk to them first. But because I would say like polygamy is like practiced more so on the continent of Africa than it is like in North America, for example, and because like the culture is to some degree predispositioned to accepting that, coupled with the fact that you do have Muslims there, right? And in Islam, you can have like multiple wives, right? So just, I would say, by proximity to both those things, a non-trivial amount of women there are going to be okay with it. But I would stress that you'd want to have that conversation with her beforehand.
Fantastic, brother. Let me read the super chats real quick, brother. Shout out to Mr. J Bones. Welcome back, J Bones. It's been a minute. We're doing well, brother. For the $2 super chat, thank you very much. If you marry multiple wives, government will pay you. Are you being serious? Is that true, Johnny?
Wow, that is news to me. I'd have to double check with some of the contacts that I have there. But I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I gotta seriously consider relocating there permanently.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hope they will allow me to bring my Japanese girlfriend, Brazilian girlfriend, Peruvian girlfriend, half black, half Japanese girlfriend, and marry all of them in Tanzania, and they'll pay me for that. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes, Johnny.
Woo! I, I'm of the mind that if that is the case, they are only providing assistance for folks that are willing to marry multiple Tanzanian women. Because I
Mm,
mean, I would say that that takes off some of the burden. Uh, that takes some of the burden away from her Tanzanian family, right? The Tanzanian government. I'm not saying the Tanzanian government is responsible for taking care of like single women, but I would think that that benefit would probably only be provided if you're marrying some of the like the local populace, members of the local populace.
awesome, thank you, brother. Shout out to Mr. Jonathan Hunt for the $199 super chat. Thank you, Jonathan. African woman over ABW all day. Facts, facts, facts. African woman, Latina black woman, Asian black woman, um, Russian black woman, in fact, over the ABW. Anything over the ABW, man. Thank you, brother.
Amen.
Um,
Preach it.
Church, shout out to Mr. Mark Ray for the $499 super chat. Jay, what do you think about cloud computing in the tech field? Do you mind answering that very quickly, brother? Just give us
Sure,
a
sure.
single line.
So, in terms of cloud computing in the tech field, based off of all of the knowledge that I've gathered over the past calendar year, in terms of doing my own research, coupled with the fact that I know some brothers in cloud. Obviously, I'm talking with IP, and I already know where his mind is at in terms of working in cloud. And I've also talked with Theo as well, who is basically famous in this part of the YouTube, uh, this sector. Cloud computing, that is the hottest field, the hottest subfield, I think, in tech right now because uh, as far as the government, as far as the private sector, as far as the public sector, so many companies are trying to not only run all of their businesses from local servers that are in some like availability zone somewhere in some country, right? But they're trying to store everything, right, and have their entire platforms in the cloud, right? Either using
Thank you, bro.
AWS or Azure, right, or Google Cloud or GCP, the Google Cloud platform. It's the hottest field right now because there is a strong demand for people with cloud computing skills, people that are familiar with the AWS, Azure, and GCP platforms, folks that have either the coding experience, the Python, Java, C++, in order to be able to troubleshoot issues on those platforms. Um, and
Should be
there
okay, Johnny.
isn't enough workers. There aren't enough people with those skills, and so right now, if you've got those skills, right, you're gonna be able to you're gonna be able to command uh, a salary that is
Thank you, bro.
well into the six figures, well into the six figures.
Thank you,
So
Johnny. That
it's
should be okay.
compliment.
Thank you, bro. So Mark, if you want that further insight, join the Patreon Diamond Tier where we'll talk about that. Okay. So let's carry on with the stream, brother. So next question for you, Johnny, is body count. Body count is extremely important to me. God forbid we marry a high body count chick. I don't want that in my life. God forbid. I will never marry a high body count chick. Give me a virgin, okay? I want a virgin for you too as well, brother. So can we find virgin women in Tanzania, or at the very least low body count women? Or the women there, do they have high body counts in general, brother? Break it down for me, brother.
I would say you can absolutely find not only women with low body counts, but likely virgins. The reason why I say that, um, is because the woman that I interacted with, they didn't come off as a run through, right? Or with high body counts in Dar es Salaam. And that's a major city in the country, right? So if you were to go out to the very, very rural parts of Tanzania, you're likely to find women that have never been with a man, and they're probably 18, 19, 20. So you can find virgin women there. You can find women that have a low body count. And, the woman that I interacted with, I could tell just from, the time that I spent with them, if you know what I mean, that they weren't run through and that they didn't have like a high body count.
Fantastic. This is great. This is wonderful. Um, so next question for you, brother, is are Tanzanian women wifeable? All right. And before you answer that question, brother, these are wifeable qualities for me that makes a woman wifeable. Virgin, okay, submissive to her husband, lets her husband lead, is cooperative, is completely feminine, girly, long hair, pink nails, pink lipstick, pristine white teeth, long dresses, just smells feminine. And of course, will she bathe and moisturize her man? Very important. Will she bathe her man and will she moisturize him down after she finishes bathing him? Are they wifeable in those aspects, brother?
You always get me with the bathing part. I would say definitely all around, brother IP, they are wifeable. You can definitely find virgin women out there. You can find women that are feminine, submissive, cooperative, lets their man lead, dutiful. You can definitely find that woman that'll cater to you. Like I'll give you an example, kind of like a kind of a window into at least how Tanzanian women are capable of treating you, right? So when I was out and having a good time, and during the nightlife portion of my trip, I cold approached a Tanzanian chick, so started talking with her, had a few drinks with her, and I ended up hanging out with her and her friends the majority of that night, but like every 30 minutes, every hour, she was always checking up on me. She was always asking, "Hey, how are you? How are you feeling? Are you okay? Are you good?" If she saw me sweating, bro, she would take a napkin from the table and she would wipe my forehead to make sure there was no
What?
sweat on it. You know what I mean? Like there was just general care and concern for me and my well-being, and I haven't felt that, I'd say, in years. The last time I felt that must have been 4 or 5 years ago, when I was dating my last American girlfriend. When I was having drinks with her and I was talking about at some point settling down, um, she, or rather, what I was bringing up in terms of what I was looking for in a wife, and talking about how I want her to cook as well, stay home with the kids. She was saying, yeah, I want to do all that. She was saying, I definitely want to stay home. I want children. I mentioned some food items that I like to eat, uh, specifically like roasted fish and jollof rice and whatnot, and plantains. I love plantains. She said, well, that's West African food, but I'm definitely willing to learn how to make that.
Whoa, what?
Like,
Oh my
yeah, and this is
goodness.
a girl that I met in the club, right? So imagine if you meet some rural village girl out there. I mean, it's gonna be slam dunk home run for you. You know what I mean? So like I would say there's plenty of women out in Tanzania that are wifeable. Now, I mean, in terms of bathing you, maybe a massage, I could see that happening. I don't know about bathing, but I wouldn't count anything out. I really wouldn't, because she was catering to me, and this is a girl that she's like probably traditional, but has some a mix of modern and traditional qualities about her. But she was very very catering to me the entire night we were hanging out. So I would say, in short, yes, you can find wives out there.
Amazing. That was a great, fantastic breakdown. Taking the part where she's wiping sweat off you. When was the last time a Western chick wiped a sweat off you or any man since 1995? Never.
Bro, never, never. They stopped making those models in like 1960, man.
Oh man, I feel like tearing up right now, man. What am I still doing in this country, man? I need me a chick to bathe me down, moisturize me from head to toe, rub me, love me, hug me, kiss me. Oh my goodness, what am I doing in this country? Oh man, okay.
Those women have gone
So,
extinct in the West for the most part.
so next question for you now, brother, is okay. Let me ask this, brother. Um, how strong-willed are they mentally? Okay, what do I mean by that? If I was to take a Tanzanian chick, right, to America, will she keep to her Tanzanian ways, or will she change either to American culture due to American TV shows such as Netflix, bitchy American women? Oh, sorry for my language, brothers. Don't swear. Silly American women. Um, the whole feminist culture there. Would that change her, or will she keep to her Tanzanian ways?
So what I would say, first and foremost, she's probably not even going to want to go to America. She's going to want to stay where she's at. The woman that I dealt with, they didn't even want to go to America. They said they looked at me and they were like, I don't understand how you could live in America. It's racist, it's violent. They're shooting up schools. Um, it's not safe, and it's ghetto. Those That is how they described America to me. So that's number one. They would prefer to stay in their home country and in their culture. But if they were to move with you, because I mean they already know English. Um, there is, I'd say, some risk of them being possibly corrupted. But if you can plug her into a community, like an African community, where she's surrounded by people that are either also Tanzanian or African at the very least, with similar cultural values that she brought with her, um, you can kind of mitigate the risk of her going like full on feminist. And I would say what's key is that if she grew up in Tanzania, right, and even went to college there, it's gonna be it would take decades for her to kind of like totally turn into a completely Western woman.
Wow, amazing. Hold on, brother. Shout out to Mr. J Bones for the $2 super chat. Thank you, J Bones. Appreciate you, bro. It's an emergency shortage of men there. Emergency. Oh wow. Uh, brother, the ratio out there between women and men in Dar es Salaam, would you say there was a lot more women than men? Was it like 60% women, 40% men, from what you saw and experienced?
From what I saw in Dar es Salaam, just walking around, spending time in restaurants and bars, clubs, I would say there appeared to be uh, a greater percentage of women compared to men. I wouldn't say it was like 10-1 or like 5-1, like what you might find in like Latvia or Lithuania. But there's definitely, I think, more women than men. So, you know, gives us an advantage if you go out there.
Fantastic. Awesome, brother. And shout out to Mr. Eric Powell for the £4.11 cash app. Thank you, brother, for the support. Thank you, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you for the kind words and the encouragement. It means a lot to me, brother. Thank you very much, bro. Awesome. Let's carry on, brother. So, next question for you, brother, is, are the women in Tanzania conservative or are they liberal in their thinking? If so, or whenever they are, why do they think that way? Are they conservative, are they liberal? And why are they conservative, or why are they liberal?
I'd say, be honest, without a doubt, they're very conservative. They behave conservatively. They dress conservatively. I didn't see any woman with tattoos, man. no tattoos, no piercings, no colored hair, uh, no screaming. Oh, I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need no man. Uh, and there's also a significant contingent of Muslims there, right? And generally Muslims are very, very conservative. So yeah, I would say just based off of what I observed, um, they they're conservative. They're conservative.
Fantastic, brother. Did you come across rich women there, in Tanzania? And were they chicken brothers?
Rich woman? I didn't. I did not come across a lot of well-off, well-to-do uh, women. I just came across, regular, everyday, average woman in terms of like economic terms. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough, brother. Thank you very much. Um, when you were out there, brother, what was the religion that most women practiced? Were they atheists? Did you come across an atheist woman, or are they religious? And what religion do they affiliate themselves with? The women in Tanzania.
It's a good question. So I would say the majority of the women that I observed and came across in Dar es Salaam uh, were, I want to say, probably maybe two-thirds Muslim, one-third Christian. There's a significant contingent of Muslims in Dar es Salaam. Now, if you were to go to Zanzibar, you're probably going to see the same thing. Lots of Muslims, not and the second major religion, right, in terms of percentage is going to be Christian. So it's going to be a mix of Muslims and Christians, but it's going to lean Muslim in Dar es Salaam and in Zanzibar, and then I think the rest of the country it's going to be more like 50-50 Christian and between Christian and Muslim. But I didn't encounter any atheists or agnostics. So it's a theistic society for sure overall.
Fantastic. Thank you, bro. Next question for you, brother, is social media. Is the average dime there using, or woman in general, using social media? Are they using Instagram, Twitter, TikTok? We're seeing how social media has ruined women for the West over here in the West. Is that the case over there in Tanzania amongst women with the social media use? Break it down for me, brother.
Is social media a problem? I wouldn't say it's a problem. It definitely exists out there. So they do have access to Instagram. They do have access to Twitter. One of the girls that I dated while I was out there, uh, she talked about her use of Twitter, but she was just using it to kind of like she was using it as sort of like an auxiliary uh, uh, tool for staying up to date on like current events and the news and whatnot. But anytime I was dealing with them, they weren't like absorbed by their phones. They were giving me their full undivided attention, and they also they don't come off as entitled. Generally, when I've dealt with women that are very much absorbed by their social media, they're on their phones often, and their entitlement is like over 9,000. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a big problem there.
Okay, awesome, brother. Let me ask this question to you, brother, and it is with regards to the clubs and bars scene over there in Tanzania. What kind of women do you meet in the clubs and bar scene, and what clubs and bars do you recommend us to go to when we're in Tanzania and Dar es Salaam? Give us the name of the clubs and bars you went to, etc., etc. And if it's hard for us to know, spell it out for us and type it in the live chat. Now I can put it in for brothers in the live chat in our private chat. So do you mind just breaking down what kind of woman we will find at clubs and bars, and what bars and clubs we should go to get the best return of investment?
Sure. So in terms of the kinds of women you're going to find in those clubs, you're going to find women that are down to have fun. You're going to find women that are down to have fun, women that have come dressed to impress, that are out there hoping to get the attention of a potential suitor, potential gentleman, you know, maybe something for the night, maybe something for, the long haul. Um, and even though that might give off like, modern woman vibes, these women are still 2 to 3 grades higher than what you're going to find in the clubs out here in the States or over there in the UK. All right. Just going by the experiences that I had, and in terms of in terms of the clubs themselves, right? So one popular club that I spent a lot of time going to was Wavuvi. Uh, I just typed it here in the chat between you and me. Wavuvi is literally on the beach, right? They've got it's got a bar. It's got a big, large screen TV where they're projecting videos, World Cup games, and all of that. They've got benches, they've got tables, they've got booths, right? If you want to go there and you want to, buy a bottle and reserve a table with you and your party, you can definitely do that there. A lot of good looking local Tanzanian chicks hang out there, and they're hanging out there Wednesday night through Sunday night, and to some degree Monday night and Tuesday night too. But really, the nightlife starts on Wednesday night, so that's one. Another popular one is Samaki, uh, and like with the previous one I mentioned, also has like multiple screens. They got karaoke there. They've got, again, a fire DJ like they did at Wavuvi. And again, a lot of beautiful women uh, go there to hang out. And then like, so going back to the question that you asked about, are they okay with you, having multiple chicks? Um, how comfortable are they with you dealing with other women? Uh, two very quick stories. So when I was hanging out at Samaki the second time, I was chatting up a girl and her girlfriend, and uh, the girlfriend of the girl I was talking to, she brought up the fact that she saw me the prior week with another girl, and she just kind of, I think she just kind of wanted to like blow my spot up in front of her friend, the girl I was talking to. And I was like, "Oh, did you? Oh, well, yeah, I was there. I was having a good time. But tonight I'm talking to you guys. I'm having a good time." Right. And the girl I was talking to, right? It's not like she just all of a sudden lost interest and stops talking to me. She still kept talking to me because like the women out there, they know how some of the men move. Some of the men like to spin plates, right? And they're just okay with that as long as you're I think upfront about it and dealing with them. They're gonna be cool. Another story that I have. One of my friends, right? He had been kind of working on one particular chick, like in our group party, because one night we all decided to go out as like a group, and there was multiple chicks, right? And he wasn't really getting a lot of making inroads with this one particular chick. She seemed like she was kind of playing hard to get or whatever. So he literally goes over and talks to another light skinned chick in front of this light skinned chick and starts chatting that other light skinned chick up and getting her number, right? What ends up happening is the previous light skinned chick that was playing hard to get, she ended up cooperating and ended up, you know, going home with my friend, 2 or 3 nights later. So it's like they know, they're not averse to dealing with men that deal with multiple women. So that was just a quick segue. So a third club, right, that I spent some time at was called Warehouse, and it's more of a it's more of like a smaller, slightly smaller club, but it's got 2 floors, fire DJ, good drinks. It's partially outside. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely good when it's not raining. And then another club, right? And this is where a lot of chicks go to, and it also stays open late. Is called Elements. And they're all not very far from each other. They're all not far from the beach. And you go to any one of these, I don't think you can go wrong.
Wow, amazing. Thanks for that great breakdown there, Mr. Johnny. Now, let me read a couple super chats there, brother. Shout out to Mr. Dark Ninja for the $199 super chat. Again, thank you for the support. Much appreciated. Do they wear wigs and weaves or natural hair?
Good question. So no wigs, no wigs. They're all rocking their natural hair, for the most part. Some of them do braid their hair, and it's like sometimes it can run really long. So kind of hard to tell if some of the women aren't using you know uh, weave, but like it's not like a ton of them are like using you know European grade hair. There, a lot of them are rocking their natural hair, but it's might be like froey, or might be completely braided and going down, all the way down her back, and into her behind. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Jonathan Hahn for the $199 super chat. Thank you, Johnny, for the support. What is the age range of woman checking for us? Great question.
All of the women that I dealt with and talked to, that I ran into at these clubs, were in the 20 to 30 range.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, bro. So next question for you, brother, is what are the best places to meet respectable wife or woman in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania? For example, is it the library? Is it, is it coffee shops? Is it art galleries? Is it the gym? Break it down for us about your recommendation.
I would recommend, if you're looking for uh, nice girls to get to know with the hopes of generating something long term, I'd say your local markets, man. Local markets. Um, uh, I don't know so much about. I don't, well, actually, no, yeah, because some of the apartment complexes out there have gyms, and Tanzanian chicks are using those gyms too. So you could definitely run into a nice girl at the gym. So the market, the gym, they have churches out there. So if you're very very religious, right, or you definitely know you want to marry a devout Christian, right, you can definitely go to a church, uh, and run across some women there. Um, yeah, and even some of these restaurants, you could probably chat up some of the girls, or the mall. Mall's another one. So yeah, there's definitely options outside the clubs to meet like nice, genuine, wholesome chicks.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Uh, Next question for you, brother, is online dating. Did you use online dating out there? Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, or any websites? If so, what worked best for you? What did you use, and what was your success rate?
Absolutely did not use any online dating. And this is the thing that I love. You can just talk to them, man. You can just walk up, talk to them. You don't have to spit anything fancy, or anything clever. You don't have to run game. Uh, you can just walk up and talk to these chicks, cold approach them, right? They're very down to earth. They're very nice. They speak softly. They're soft spoken. If they do turn you down, it's going to be with respect, and it's going to be gently. So no, I didn't have to use Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, Instagram, or any app.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. So I got a super chat here real quick. Shout out to Mr. T Breezy Miami for the $199 super chat. Thank you, T Breezy. Have we spoke before? I think we have, but confirm with me in the live stream chat. I think we spoke separately or privately. How you doing, bro? How long should you stay for a visit?
I would say at least a good 2 to 2.5 weeks minimum. Just because there's so much to do and so much to see just in Dar es Salaam, and then you have Zanzibar that's very close by, right? A lot of people go to Zanzibar to have a good time, and it's I want to say that's like a 12-minute flight. So you could, if you're there for 2 to 2.5 weeks, it should be long enough for you to spend a weekend in Dar es Salaam, a weekend in Zanzibar, and spend a good amount of time just exploring Dar es Salaam, getting exposed to it, sampling the nightlife, day to day life, all that.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, bro. Um, Next question for you now, brother, is would you say Tanzanian women are materialistic? You know, they don't want a
No,
Gucci bag, Prada bag, Armani bag, a Western dude. No? Okay, break it down for us, brother.
not at all. And I guess the reason why I say that is because like you don't like one, they're not asking for any of that stuff. They're very humble. Um, I think they realize the value of a dollar or the value of a Tanzanian shilling, and that it's hard to come by either one of those, either there or here in the states. So because they uh, know the value of money, and because life is very very hard there for a lot of them, they don't have outlandish expectations of what a guy needs to be able to do. I think you just need to treat them with respect, care, and just make sure they feel cared for and that their basic needs are being met. I think honestly, if you're just a good guy and you have a decent job out there, right? You don't have to be out there making six figures or anything like that. You just need to be a good guy. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Fantastic, bro. Next question for you, brother, is obviously not all women are perfect, right? So I want to ask this, brother. What are the bad parts or suspicious parts you've noticed amongst Tanzanian women? Is it an attitude problem? Can they get angry too quickly? Do they get jealous too quickly? Any sort of, bad parts you saw on average about Tanzanian women that brothers should know about?
Let's see. In terms of bad parts, I would say like if you wanted to confront if you wanted to confront a chick on something that she did, uh, on some aspect of her behavior, she might not deal with it too well. Like she might like run, or she might not want to talk about it or address the subject because they're like non-confrontational. I think by nature and just by culture. So um, that's one. Like in terms of like confronting them on something that they did or something that they said. Um, they they might not handle it super well. Like they might not be willing to talk it out. They'd rather just brush it under the rug and not even deal with it. Two, two. There are some of them that have kind of been out there. When I say out there, they've been living that Sex in the City lifestyle. Maybe a bit more than maybe some of the average Tanzanian chicks, and so um, they they might be less. I want to say mm, less open to dealing with like a serious situation, like a serious relationship type of situation. But that's all going to go back to how well you vet the woman, uh, and what you establish you're looking for from her uh, beforehand. I'd say mostly. So I'd say by and large mostly positive things, with the exception of those two things. They might not be great at resolving conflict. Like if you confront them on something, they might try to like run away, so to speak. Like not try to deal with it. And some of them, you know, maybe some of the older ones, mid to late 20s, they've been going to the clubs probably for a while. So it's like if you're trying to
Mhm.
get them to pursue something long term, you know that might not be that might not be that might not be best. I remember one girl told me they have a saying in Dar es Salaam: "Don't catch feelings in Dar." Um, the reason why I think that's like a kind of like a red flag is because, okay, this person would rather just not open up their heart in like altogether, but still deal with men because she's clearly been hurt enough times to where, it would take effort for you to try to get her to a point where she'd want to consider something serious. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. I got a super chat here by Tiny Evil. Thank you for the support and it's on a super chat. How is the crime there in Dar es Salaam, brother, Tanzania?
Man, I didn't see any. It's very, very safe there. And, when like, so, and I think this the whole narrative, right, of like, oh, Africa is not safe, or, don't go there, it's dangerous, you know, this is, it's poor and there's a lot of guerrillas and, like guerrilla warfare type folks over there trying to take something from you and kidnap you. I it, I think that's like uh, uh, a gross misconception that's put out by the West, which is run by white folks for the most part, right? When I was out there, yes, there were some depressed areas, like some areas where it was kind of poor, but at no point in time did I feel unsafe, or did I feel like they were trying to take something from me. Like like my first 2 or 3 days there, I walked around in some of the poor areas, but I was kind of on guard, you know, had my head on a swivel. But then, after being there for a little bit longer and just getting a sense of my surroundings, I'm like, man, these people aren't trying to take anything from me. They're not trying to rob me or kidnap me or kill me, right? My guard went down. I actually felt safer there than in some of the neighborhoods that I grew up in America, which is crazy, right? Which is crazy because I mean I've lived in hood places in America, but like those places were poor, but they were also unsafe in America. But out there, they're not trying to hurt me. And if you go, they're I don't think they're going to hurt you. I don't think even if you stand out, even if you look like a foreigner, right? The most anyone's going to try and do if they walk up to you is try and see if you need a ride, right? In which case, obviously they'd want some Tanzanian shillings for that. But yeah, I would say if there is like I'm not saying there's zero crime. There's probably crime like there is in every major city, but I didn't see it, and it is very, very safe, very, very safe there. So
Fantastic. Awesome, brother. Let me ask this now, brother. Um, Cold approaching, right? So you
yeah.
did not use dating apps in Tanzania, which is fantastic. That's beautiful, wonderful, magnificent, great, fantastic. Let me ask this right now, brother. Did you cold approach women in Tanzania? Did women cold approach you? If so, how did you cold approach the woman in Tanzania? What was your opening line? How did you do it? Or what's your advice for brothers to cold approach Tanzanian women? And how did women approach you in Tanzania if you were approached? Break it down for me, brother. I want the whole 9 yards. Break it down for me, brother.
I'm gonna give you the whole 9 yards. Okay, so the answer is yes. I cold approached women in Tanzania. Uh, it was almost predominantly in the clubs and bars that I spent time in, and it wasn't anything fancy other than hello in their native tongue, like you say habari, habari, how are you, or habari karibu, how are you? That's hello, how are you in Swahili. Um, and they say habari back, right? And then I'll say, uh, "You look great. You look great. You look great this evening. What brings you out tonight?" And then the conversation basically conversation basically flows from there, right? With another woman, I just walked up to her and I said, "Hey, are you alone or are you with someone? I'd like to buy you a drink." Right? And it was that simple. I didn't have to lay some kind of clever line on them or run game on them. And obviously, I'm not from there. I'm unique and exotic. They can kind of tell I'm not from there as soon as I open my mouth. So I'm sure I have that working in my favor. But yeah, it was simple lines like that. As far as was I cold approached, I was cold approached. I was cold approached by a Tanzanian woman, kind of cute, light skinned Tanzanian chick. And she started speaking to me in straight Swahili for like a good 10, 15 seconds. And I'm like, hold on. Sorry, I speak very little Swahili. English is my first language. I'm not from here. And she was like, well, you look Tanzanian. And I was like, well, thank you. But yeah. She approached me and she said, "Can I give you my phone number? Maybe we can get coffee sometime. Feel free to reach out if you want to do that." And she gave me her number, and I put it in my phone and whatnot. But yep. You can cold approach. That's what I would recommend. Just be genuine, down to earth, and you know, have nothing but great expectations. Because I mean, I wasn't. Let me see. Let me think. I think I cold approached maybe like five times, and I got positive receptions for those 5 times, like 80% closure rate. So, you know, I've never had that high of a closure rate just off a cold approach in the States.
Wow. Amazing, brother. Amazing. Let me now ask this, brother. Let me ask this right now. Okay. Dressing, right? Dressing is very important for brothers. We got to dress well, dress the part. So I want to ask this important question, brother. When we go out there to Tanzania, do we come through, wearing, G-Unit sneakers, Sean John jeans, Echo coats, 5XL white tees, gold teeth, diamond QB chain, Queensbridge, shouts New York, and New York Jets snapback, and of course, red bandana and blue bandana. Do we come through wearing that? And of course, sagging our pants too, or do we come through wearing a suit? Dressing normal. Probably wearing some nice dress shoes, a nice fitted t-shirt, some nice pair of fitted trousers, what you call pants in America. How do we dress out there in Tanzania to get the dime respectable woman?
So the attire that you described at first, to begin with, is that of a stereotypical rapper or wannabe rapper or gangster. Don't come out there dressing like that. Do not, do not bring your black behind out there dressed like that, because I don't think you're going to be received well. They're not going to look at you and respect you. Um, I would say come dressed presentably, right? With your pants pulled all the way up to your waistline, wearing a belt if need be. Okay. Presentable shoes, a nice top. So, like, I'll tell you how I dressed when I was out at the club. I was always wearing short sleeve polos from Express Men, and well fitted shorts from Express Men, um, and some dark black Vans. My hair was together. No wave cap, with maybe a spray of hint of cologne on me, and my beard was uh, lined up, edged up. Now I was just looking presentable. So yeah, I would not go out there dressed like a thug, because I mean they might not even, I don't know, they might not even let you in the club because they have security at all of these clubs and they're patting you down and whatnot. I mean, if you look like you like a gangster, I mean they might refuse entry. But yeah, yeah, like if when I was there and observing some of the Tanzanian men there, a lot of them were also dressed well. Some of them were dressed some of them were dressed in slacks. Although it is very hot there, right? So a lot of men weren't necessarily wearing slacks, but they were wearing well fitted pants, nice shoes. Uh, Hair was lined up, put together, beards were lined up, You know, some folks had dress shirts on. Uh, if they had very casual clothing, it was properly fitted, and they looked presentable.
Fantastic, bro. Great breakdown there. Next question for you, brother, is the nightlife scene in general. Is the nightlife scene great in Tanzania? Is it popping? What kind of music do they play? Is it jazz music? I'm a jazz guy. I'm an old school brother, so I love jazz. I love that chill kind of trumpet music where we're sipping water or she's sipping wine and we're listening to jazz playing in the background. Shout out to Miles Davis. Shout out to all the jazz brothers, right? I like that kind of scene there. Right? I'm not really a hip hop type of dude. Jazz, house music, just chill music. Is that kind of nightlife there in, Tanzania? Or is it more hip hop? Or is it more pop music? Break it down for me, brother, please.
I would say it's a mix of pop and R&B and hip hop, but not always American hip hop. They've got their own local artists there that are playing like more like African music in general. So they're I'd say they're going back and forth and mixing it in with music from their local artists as well as music from you know artists probably definitely from America, but then probably also uh, you know rap and hip hop artists that are from Western Europe. So I'd say it's a mix. The nightlife in general, I love the nightlife. It's very active from Wednesday all the way till Sunday night. I went. I think I went to a concert while I was out there, and they were playing. It was playing. I forget the artist that was playing, but it was like he sounded kind of like on the at the intersection of pop and R and B. So yeah, I'd say that's what you're gonna find if you go out there now. If you were to go to like nicer restaurants, they might be playing slow jazz. They might be playing slow jazz, nicer music, sit down to dinner music. Um, so yeah, I'd say it depends on the venue, depends on where you go. But if you're out in the clubs, bars, it's gonna lean R&B, it's gonna lean African, it's gonna lean hip hop, pop.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, brother. Next question for you, bro, is now in terms of, let me get my questions out real quick. Damn. Okay. Next question for you, brother, is are there any other cities apart from Dar es Salaam where the women check for brothers? Zanzibar or any other cities that black men told you there in Dar es Salaam, hey, Johnny, go here, go there, apart from where you're staying at currently?
Mm, mm. Zanzibar. You definitely like if you go out there, right? You got to make some time to go over to Zanzibar. That's where not only are there plenty of Tanzanians, but there's a lot of tourists too. So if you're looking to not only run across the local populace but other foreigners, right? Zanzibar is definitely the place, definitely the spot. So a lot of a lot of nice beach areas. It's definitely some clubs there, a lot of restaurants, a lot of nice places just to walk around. So there's Zanzibar, and then I think in uh, Arusha, Arusha or Mwanza. That's more in the northwestern part of the country. You could also go there, and I think they might have like one or two clubs there, and so you've got some options. I'd say you've got some options.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, bro. Um, Next question for you, brother, is N-word use and racism. Did you experience any racism towards you by the Indians and Arabs there? Any N-word use said towards you by anyone there, even though they're black? For some reason, a lot of black people say the N-word. I disagree, but that's for another discussion. Or did the Arabs or Indians say the N-word? And what about the clubs as well? Were they saying the N-word when rap music was playing? Who was saying it? Was it black, Arabs, Indian? Did you experience any racism at all as a Western black man? Break it down for me, brother.
I would say I experienced absolutely no racism while I was out there. Not by the Tanzanian blacks, not by the Arabs, not by the Indians. Actually, on my way there, I ran into on my flight there from Amsterdam. to Dar es Salaam. I was sitting next to an Indian guy who was working in Canada but was coming back to visit his family in Tanzania. And you know, he talked to me with the utmost respect. He talked to me almost like, like a brother almost. So yeah, no racism from any of the folks that I interacted while I was in the country and on my way to the country, on my way out of the country, and I didn't hear any use of the N word at all.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Exactly what I want to hear, brother. Awesome. Are there any dangers to be aware of in Tanzania that brothers should be aware of? Is it scammers? Is it wannabe thugs that are copying, Chicago drill music? Anything of any nonsense, the brother, that we should be aware of, in Dar es Salaam? Is it scammers? Is it just no good individuals? Break out for me, brother.
I mean, I would say there probably are scammers out there. If you, I think if you're there long enough, you interact with enough people, you probably will come across someone trying to scam you. But for me, I didn't run into anyone trying to scam me. Uh, didn't run into any dangerous characters. Uh, I think yeah. While I was on my way somewhere, and I was uh, in a Bolt. So like, you know how we have Uber and Lyft out here in the States. I would assume that you guys have something similar in the UK. Out there, they have Bolt. It's a rideshare app. And while I was on my way to a spot, uh, the Bolt driver got a flat tire on the main road, and I was kind of temporarily stuck out there. Someone, a native Tanzanian, conveniently happened to be there, walked by, and was talking with the boat driver. And I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but he probably said something along the lines of, "Oh, what's wrong? This looks like you got a flat. Need help?" And he conveniently had access to some tire changing tools or whatever, and he helped the bolt driver fix the flat tire, break out the spare from the bolt driver's car. And once we were all done, obviously he asked for uh, money. The bolt driver gave him some money, but then he asked me for some money, and I'm like, "Well, bolt driver just gave you some money. Why do you need money from me?" Um, and I was actually gonna give some money to the guy, and then the boat driver was like, "No, no, don't worry. I already gave him some money," and he shooed the guy off. But he said later the guy was probably trying to get money not only for water but for alcohol. Um, so I mean, I said all that to say it was kind of convenient that that guy just happened to be there when we had the flat tire and helped us change the flat tire. I'm almost of the mind to think that maybe guy kind of planted something on the road and was just lying in wait for somebody to get a flat so he could go help that person and then maybe make some money off of it. But I might be reaching when I say that. But other than that, I felt completely safe at various hours of the night, in various situations, at multiple clubs, bars, walking around in various neighborhoods. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's a lot of danger. Not saying there aren't any. I'm not saying there aren't any scammers out there, but in the 2 weeks that I was out there, I don't think I ran across any. So
Awesome. Thank you, brother. So completely safe for black men. Awesome.
yeah,
Should brothers travel alone or in a group to Tanzania, in your opinion?
you could you could get by on your own. I would say if you're traveling out there. I I like the fact that when I went there, I already had a contact on the ground that was, kind of waiting to host me, which, I'm forever indebted to that brother, and I'll be in contact with that brother for the foreseeable future and want to do business with that guy. Uh, but yeah, I'd say, I mean, I don't know, the environment is more fun, I think, if you're going out in a group and you're just experiencing the nightlife as a group. Usually a lot of chicks are going to be there in a group. If you're there in a group, it's kind of easy to just for you all to like match up with each other. But if if you don't have a crew, you don't have a wolf pack, you can definitely go out there by yourself. And if, as long as you got the intel, you can hit up like the spots that I mentioned. You can go out to eat. You can go experience the nightlife, clubs, bars, and all that, and have a good time solo.
Fantastic, brother. So I've got two more questions for you. If I open up the phone lines. Next one is in terms of transportation. How were you moving around? Did they have good trains and good buses there, or did you use Uber, Lyft, and Bolt to move around? And what's the preferable transportation means for Black men who are visiting there in Tanzania?
I mostly relied on Bolt. So Bolt is a rideshare app. It's very much comparable to Uber and Lyft. All you got to do is set up an account and link your credit card or your debit card to it, and you can request a driver basically from anywhere. You can because a lot of people use WhatsApp out there. If you want, you can kind of like once you request a driver, if you really like him, you can try and you can get his contact information, and he'd be willing to be your driver while you're out there. And the I guess the positive of that is that you conveniently have like a driver that's on call that's willing to take you wherever you want. There are buses out there that are running, so if you really want to hop on a bus, if you're familiar with the bus route, you can do that. I mostly didn't do that. Trains, actually, I didn't see. I did see some train tracks, but didn't see any active trains running while I was out there. Um, it might be a possible viable mode of transportation, but I mostly relied on Bolt.
Awesome, brother. Fantastic. And did you use cash out there, physical cash, to pay for your goods, or did you use your credit card? And what's the best
Mm,
way? I think that's also important, especially in an African country.
yeah, no, that's a very good question, very relevant question. So it's a mix of both cash and my credit card. So some places accept credit card, but there's a lot of places that don't, right? Or if they do have credit card machines, and that the use of those machines is predicated on Wi-Fi. If the signal's not strong, they're not going to be able to swipe your card and be able to authorize a transaction. So I'd say it's very very advantageous to always have cash on you. Some degree of cash, like Tanzanian shilling. So that would be my recommendation. You can carry your card with you, and at certain establishments where it's more developed, especially at high end restaurants, you're going to be able to use your card. But in other places, it's advisable to have cash on you. And another thing that I want to bring up is if you're out there, best to try and get your own, like get some sort of a phone plan, local phone plan with a local SIM card, because if you try to rely on the SIM card from your iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy, it's going to be really hard to get signal. It's going to be really hard to get signal, and that's going to make it hard for you to use useful apps like Bolt. So yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Okay. So let me drill down on there real quick, brother. So let me just break down the cash question part before going on to the phone. So when it comes to cash, did you take out the cash before coming to Tanzania, or did you take the cash out from the checkpoint in Tanzania, or did you get it at the airport in Tanzania? What's the best way to do it?
Very, very good question. Okay. So yeah, this is important. When I flew in and landed and was going through their immigration, right, I had to pay $100 for the Tanzanian visa. It's a travel visa, tourist visa. It's good for 90 days. They won $100. I think they were accepting card, but my friend advised me to just bring cash, and so that's what I did. So that's number one. And that was $100 American dollars, and I withdrew that before I left America, right? That's number one. Number two, um, as far as dealing with the cash, as far as having cash on you while you're out there, it you don't have to like withdraw a bunch of American cash, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars before you go out there. Um, they have they have plenty of ATMs out there, so all you have to do is bring your debit card, and put your debit card in. You should be able to get Tanzanian shillings, no problem.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. And next question in regards to the phone plan, right?
Yeah.
You said so. So let's say you bring your phone as an iPhone, right? You have a contract to Verizon or Sprint, whoever you use in America, right? Hope I said it right.
Verizon. Yep.
And
iPhone.
so do you then take out the SIM card of that from the
Yep.
phone and then buy a SIM card in Tanzania, a SIM card on your phone? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Or do you buy a new
Yep.
phone and a new SIM card?
The former. So, and I did not do this, but I wish I had. I wish I had done that. So what I did was I just decided to, try using my phone and rely on roaming and whatnot. And the international data plan that I have with Verizon, and it worked for like probably a good week. And then after a while, I just even with roaming, I couldn't access anything, which is kind of scary, because you don't want to be without access to the internet, because it's because of that you can even go on Bolt and request a ride. So you don't want to be stuck somewhere. That's number one. Going back to your question though, I would, when I go there again, I'm gonna go to a place that sells SIM cards, and what I'm gonna do is I am going to buy a SIM card there, take my original SIM card out, put that SIM card in, use that while I'm there, and then when I leave, replace my original SIM card. That's what I recommend. And that's
Okay,
what
awesome.
my contact on the ground is doing right now. So
Awesome. Thank you, brother. And last question for our open phone lines is culture, people, food, and weather. Those four things. How are those things there in general for brothers? Because I'm pushing out the IT lifestyle, remote working, and it'd be great for brothers who are making American dollars and they move over to Tanzania for maybe 5 months, 3 months to live there while working a remote job IT there. But to make sure that it's a good experience, how are the people there in general? Are they nice? How is the weather? How is the food? And how's the culture there in general? If you can break it down for us, brother.
I can absolutely break that down. Those are other aspects of my trip that just really cemented it as a definite repeat place, like in my heart, right? So starting with the people, they're very, very friendly. They're very friendly, laid back, non-confrontational. They're smiling, right? When I was, in restaurants, they were always asking, "Oh, hey, how are you? Where are you from? What brings you here?" Right? Um, they would also ask, "So what do you plan to do while you're here?" They would also just talk about things that I could do, right? Things that I can see in their country. They recommended that I go to the Serengeti, that I, take some safari trips, that, I visit Zanzibar as well. And they take a lot of pride. They take great pride in their country, and that it's a good country. It offers a lot in the way of natural sights and wonders and beautiful things to look at. Mount Kilimanjaro is there. And I got the vibe that I got from the people there was phenomenal. It was nice. It was great. Just some imagine like if you're a black guy, just imagine a country filled with, black men and women, right? They're not out in the street killing each other. A lot of them are intelligent. They value education. They value family. They value, their religious beliefs. It's how it's how it's meant to be. Because here in America, this ain't it, man. This is not it. We're dealing with a matriarchy, okay? A matriarchy, and it is in shambles. The community has been destroyed by the matriarchy, by racism, by white supremacy and all that, XYZ. Over there, their communities are intact. But But to get back to the line of questioning, yeah, the people are great. People are great. Even the guys that my contact hooked me up with, that kind of helped show me around, they're very nice, very welcoming. They're fantastic hosts. They're giving me the game, telling me spots to go to check out. Um, they're just all around great people. That's number one. Two, the weather is fantastic. At least during the time that I went. Right? I went in late November, going into early December. 85 to 90 degrees every day. It rained, I think, once the entire time I was there. Um, and it was just sunny all the time. It's great, hot, sunny. It's like almost like paradise kind of weather. I mean, they're around, I'm gonna say between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. It got really hot, like above 90. But then, like in the evening, it begins to cool. And plus, if you're by the beach, you're gonna feel that breeze. It's just gonna feel like paradise. As far as the food goes, is a mix of Tanzanian food, Indian food, Arab food. It's a mix of all those things. So I don't think you can go wrong with the food there. And then the culture is very family oriented culture. It's very very non confrontational. Um, people are warm. They want to welcome you. They want you to feel welcome. Like when they see you, they say welcome, welcome. When you're walking into a bar or restaurant or whatnot. So yeah, it's all four of those things. Plus the cost of living is very very cheap there. I was bolting all over the city for like 90 cents, $1, $2, maybe $3, $4 at most. Yeah, it was mostly in the $1 to $3 range. Drinks are gonna run you $2, $3. Alcoholic drinks. A decent meal is gonna run you $5 to $10 at the most. Um, and if you're taking somebody out on a date, that might run you, between the two of you, two-course meal with drinks might run you $30 max between the two of you. So yeah, if guys want to, they're in IT, they're in tech, they're working remote, they want to hang out there for 2-3 months, you're going to have a great time. You're not going to spend a lot of money. You're going to enjoy the food, the culture, the women, and the people in general. Plus, there's a lot of natural wonders and scenic places to go and visit.
Awesome, bro. Fantastic. And let me ask this, brother, right? Because I'm just amazed that it's a functioning black country, and that's what we love to hear and see. No. It's just the fact that we grew up in dysfunctional communities where again we see a bunch of brothers killing each other, a bunch of women being promiscuous, being thoughts, just talking about nonsense like we see in the whole Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion court case, just nonsense in general. And that kind of puts a damper on things like what's going on with my people. I want to see my people rise. I want to see my people, IPO companies, work in tech, do great things in the tech space, whatever space, right? So it's just fantastic seeing a functioning country where the black people they're on the same page, they respect each other, all about nuclear family. I'm very interested in the wealth of the black men there in Tanzania. Who runs that country? Is it black men? And are black men rich and wealthy there in Tanzania? Two very important questions. I want to see my black men, our black brothers, rise and just do great things in Tanzania. Do they run the country? And are they rich and wealthy black men there in Tanzania?
Good questions. And what you said earlier really does, it speaks to my heart, because I know what you're talking about, because I've seen it all my life here in America. Yes, the states in general, the community there, it's in shambles. In Tanzania, it is the complete opposite. Black men are running things at the government level, at the business level, at the political level, um, in restaurants. Everyone that's employed is black, right? In apartment complexes, everyone that's part of the staff is black. The people that own properties in Tanzania, a lot of them are black. They might be from Tanzania, or they might be from other African countries, right? All of this police black, right? Um, in terms of, you know, the bars, the restaurants, you know, the malls, the schools run by black men, black women, right? Majority, I think, of their political leaders throughout history has been black men, right? With the exception of maybe the period where they were colonized. But yeah, it's just great to see um, a functioning society that is run, maintained, supported, and advancing all via black men and their black women working with them. And it does wonders for you psychologically, IP. It really does, which is why, like, if you're a brother, you know what I mean, and you know you're not with the BS that we're seeing in the States and in the UK, and you kind of need to detox from that. You need, like, you know, something therapeutic to restore your mind in terms of, okay, what's possible, that's good and positive, when black men and women are at the helm of things. Go to Dar es Salaam, or go to Accra, Ghana. You know what I mean? Or go to Nairobi, Kenya. You know what I mean? Go to these places, because these places, they're functioning, and they're safe. You know what I mean? It's not like what you see on TV and how the West portrays Africa. West does a very bad job of portraying Africa and countries within Africa. They're focusing on one small negative aspect, and that's all that you see. But when you go there, you see fully functioning societies where actually it's probably healthier if you're a black man or woman to live in than 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 in the States or in the UK, because we're under constant psychological attack and duress.
Wow,
But yes,
amazing.
sorry, I almost got off. I almost got off track, but I remember, yes. So there are well-to-do black men out there. The reason why I can say that, um, is, like, say for example, some of the houses that I see, you know, black men walking out of, very nice houses, or you know, compounds. They seem, they're more like compounds, I think. Some of these places that I've seen, and they're driving nice cars, and they don't have like a credit system there, like we do here. You can't just like take a car off the lot with, like, you know, $1,000 down payment. You have to be able to pay for that car in full. So, and they've got BMWs out there, bro. They've got BMWs out there. And if you see, you know, they have a BMW, that black man paid for it in full. Okay. See, he ain't broke. Trust and believe, he ain't broke. And it's an import on top of that. So, you know, it costs even more money. You know what I mean? Because you know, got to pay a fee. There's a fee that's stacked in on top of it just for it being an imported car. So yeah, there's well-to-do black men, and probably black women too, but definitely black men for sure. I think my friend, where he's staying, there are like quite a few black diplomats that stay in the same area as he, and you know they're well off. You know, they pay their diplomats well. So yeah,
Fantastic. Awesome, bro. Awesome, awesome. So let me read a couple of super chats and we'll get the phone lines open. Shout out to Mr. Baba Tondi Oloyi for the 7.99 Australian dollars. Thank you, brother. I'm guessing you're in Australia. How are the women treating you there? Hope everything is well in Australia. Hey, IP, really enjoyed the Ethiopian and Rwandan series. We'll be visiting both countries next year to get a good sister. Fantastic, fantastic. Hope all is well with you, and hopefully you get that woman of your dreams. Right? Thank you very much, Baba, Tandi. Much appreciated, bro. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Shout out to Mr. Dark Ninja for the $4.99 super chat. Did you deal with university chicks and older women?
yeah, I did. Well, so I don't know what he means by older woman. If he means like over, you know, 31, 32, I did not. They were mostly in the 20 to, most of them were under 27, to be honest. But yeah, quite a few of them, they were like in the college age to, maybe grad school / medical school age range, right? So between 20 and 25. That's what I was dealing with predominantly.
Wow, amazing. So I'm guessing age gap isn't a problem. A 40-year-old brother can date a 22-year-old
Yeah,
Tanzanian sister. Wouldn't be a problem.
that's not going to be a problem. No. Mhm.
Fantastic, man. Mr. Johnny, thank you so much for the fantastic intel on Tanzania. You want to take a minute break before I open up the phone lines? And we've been speaking for an hour, 40 minutes straight. You want to take a minute or two break? It's up to you, brother.
Sure, I'll get some water. Thanks, man.
No problem, brother. Awesome, awesome. So, brothers, a great live stream so far. Fantastic. This is a classic, one of my best so far of the year. Because I love my black woman. I don't I don't particularly date the UK BWs here, and I don't like the way ABWs act towards Black American men. So I avoid them. But I love my foreign black woman. So if you want to get a black chick, go for foreign black woman. Forget about ABW and UKBW. Ignore them. Good morning, good night, good evening, and goodbye. That's it. Don't say anything more. Don't say anything less. Okay, they're not worth it. Awesome. So, shout out to Mr. Sean Camp for the $999 super chat. Thank you, brother. I can vouch for everything the guest is saying. Met two beautiful Tanzanian women in Nairobi. They were super feminine and beautiful. Oh, wow. Ooh, damn. Looks like I need to make that trip to Tanzania. Hopefully I see a half Japanese, half Tanzanian chick in Tanzania. That'd be incredible. Hey, shout out to Sean Camp, man. Let's catch up over the weekend or tomorrow on Sunday. It's been a minute, brother. Please send me a message on IG. We got to catch up, bro. Hope all is well with you. And good to see you back on the channel, Sean Camp. That's the brother right there. Much appreciation, bro. So before I open up the phone lines, as you can see, if you want to hear the explicit version of this stream, it will be on Patreon. You need to know how Tanzanian women get down in the bedroom. Okay, you need to know how they get down in the bedroom, what they like, what kind of freaky ish goes on there in Tanzania. So make sure that you check out the Patreon diamond tier for that intel. Welcome back, Johnny. So here's a link to my Patreon, brothers. Go and support. And even if you're not interested in the content, right, you can still support me by joining any tier. Support me throughout the months, because it's very tough having a YouTube channel. So please support me any way you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Here's a link to my Cash App that's open 24/7. So please feel free to support me by the Cash App. Like I said, YouTube takes a 40% cut of each and every super chat, which is a lot. Okay, so super chat doesn't. So please make sure you support me on the Cash App doesn't. So please make sure you support me on the Cash App if possible. That'd be greatly appreciated. Here's a link to my Facebook group. I must say that you must be a part of the Patreon to be a part of the Facebook group. So when you join the Patreon, I will accept you in the Facebook group. If you are on Twitter, please feel free to follow me on Twitter about updates on the channel, my thoughts, my ideas, pictures, videos of my trips and what I do abroad. That'd be greatly appreciated. And that's the same case for Instagram as well. So if you're on IG, feel free to follow me on IG. Again, send me a DM if you want to come on my channel. If you've been to any countries around the world and you want to share your experiences with other brothers, come and share the love with brothers, man. That's the only way we can help each other out to find our future girlfriends and wives. We have to share the information. So if you've been to Peru, Chile, some other African country or the Caribbean, whatever, doesn't matter where you've been and you had a great time there and the woman treated you well, come and share with the brothers, man, because we're all here together. We have to work as a team for us to thrive as a community. And you're definitely welcome here on the channel to share that information. Here's a link to my new YouTube channel, International Passport Clips. I'll be dropping a video this coming week on my new channel, International Passport Clips. So please make sure you go out there and subscribe to my new channel, International Passport Clips. And last but not least, the merch is out. The merch is out. Go out there and support the channel and support what I do via the merch. Okay, so copper hoodie, copper t-shirt, be a part of the international passport movement. When I'm traveling, I'm definitely wearing my merch and I get a lot of looks. What does IP mean by foreign woman over Western woman? they look a bit confused, So, go and let these ladies know that, okay, we ain't playing no more in the West. Okay, we want the best woman, and a Western woman ain't that type of woman. Okay, so I'm gonna open up the phone lines right now. Before I do so, I want to say that the World Cup final is on Sunday, and if you read my community post on YouTube and my post on Twitter and Facebook, I said this right. If if um if France win tomorrow, if France beat Argentina, I will do South Asian streams. And you know that I'm not really into Indian women like that or Pakistani women, but I will put away my pride, okay, and I will do streams on Indian women, Pakistani women, Bangladeshi women, etc., etc. Only if France wins tomorrow. If France doesn't win, if Argentina wins, I ain't doing no streams on Indian women or any South Asian women. Okay, so hopefully, so hopefully Argentina win tomorrow. I hope they win because I do not want to do any streams on them. But I am a man of my word. Okay, so if France win tomorrow, I will do those streams. If Argentina win, and I think they are going to win, they are definitely going to win Argentina the final tomorrow in the World Cup. I'm looking forward to not doing those streams. Okay, so we shall see tomorrow. So let's open up the phone lines and let's get it cracking. Okay, are you going forward tomorrow to win, Johnny? France or Argentina?
I think I'm gonna root for France. I think Lionel Messi. He's too good not to have a World Cup win, you know, under his belt. What do you think?
I want Argentina to win. Because obviously I don't want to do those streams. But I feel
I
like
think a part of the reason you put that bet out there is because you're so confident Argentina's gonna win. Because I mean,
I am so confident, but I'm 100%. They're not going to lose tomorrow. They're definitely going to win. So I know I'm not doing those streams. I just want to love brothers' faces like me getting those streams ever on my channel. Ha 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 ha. Hold on, brother. Shout out to Mr. Brian HR1, who I believe is God brother, for the £16.46 cash app. Thank you for the support, brother. That is greatly appreciated. That means a lot to me. On the cash app, it means a lot to me, brother. Thank you very much. All right, awesome. So, brothers, feel free to call in if you have any questions about Tanzanian women, the brothers' time in Tanzania. Now's the time. Not a lot of brothers go here, like Panama. It took me a year to find someone that went to Panama. I've been trying to find intel in Panama for a year now because a lot of brothers don't go to these places. It's the same case for Tanzania too. Okay, so now's the perfect time for you to call in. If you can't call in, please cash up and super chat your questions to get the brother to answer it for you. Let's have a great Q&A session. Okay, awesome.
it's definitely a hidden gem. It's definitely a hidden gem, and there's not a lot of people talking about it. I was almost hesitant to even come on and talk about it because I'm like, once I talk about it, more people talk about it, the less of a secret it's gonna be. But I'm like, I really want other black guys to know about this spot. It is more than just Colombia and Brazil out there. Is more than just Thailand, the Philippines, Japan. It's more than those spots where you can find marriage minded, traditional leaning, beautiful woman. And it's especially for guys that are in the States and black guys in the UK. You know, they've and especially if you're like, I think under 40, all you've seen, or much of what you've been bombarded with is the dark side of black men and black women. If you go to Africa, you know what I mean, to a continent that's filled with whole black communities, with whole black families, nuclear black families functioning well, it's going to do wonders for your psychology. And I think it can begin to repair, your idea of black men and black women in general, you know?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely. Because I feel like, uh,
Like
you know,
it shouldn't be considered an anomaly when, guys like us are articulate, educated, we're well intentioned, well meaning. We want to be good fathers. We don't want to be thugs. We don't want to dress a certain way. It shouldn't be looked at as like out of character for a black guy. You know what I mean? Over there, they don't have that kind of thinking. It's not cool. It's not considered cool to be generating a bunch of baby mamas rocking gold chains and a pair of Timbs with oversized white tees and a wave cap running through the streets, you know, saying brr, brr, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's not they don't consider that cool. They have good, wholesome values over there. So yeah, I don't know. I think of it as like, almost like therapeutic. If brothers, I'm not saying brothers have to go to Africa to find their wives, but if you spend time in Africa, it's I would say it's the antidote. I view it as the antidote to all the BS that you've had to deal with in the communita, in the black communita in the West.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, so King Dynasty is here. The brother's actually been there, so he can speak what he wants about, Tanzania. Like, brothers, if you've not been to a country, especially if you don't speak on, your personal opinion on it, right? He's been there. Okay, so I don't know what your comment means there, if you can clarify that. But if you're saying that the guest is skewing in the logic, I disagree. He's been there, he's experienced there, he dealt with the women. So, I mean, it, it is a hidden gem. So I definitely believe the brother, and Tanzania is definitely on my list. So let me post a link for Mr. Iris. So Rinsky, the link is right here. You can call in and live chat StreamYard. I'd love to hear Tanzanian brother speak on his own country. Fantastic. So beautiful. Fantastic. And you're right about, just seeing your own people do well. Because I've lived in the UK for a long time, man. A bunch of my people are literally walking dead zombies. Keep it real with you, bro. Just nonsense, man. Rap
Right?
about harming each other, want to be a rapper or athlete, have no ambition to go into tech or medicine or finance. Just nonsense stuff, man. You're thinking, is that all we can aspire to be? I kind of feel like we're a joke in the West. Like, we are literally at the bottom of every single thing important, and our people just want to talk about Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. Not keeping it real, bro. Just want to talk about weed, drinking. I did this, I did that. I never heard talk about stocks or bearing themselves personal development. It's just nonsense, bro. It's absolute
Fact.
nonsense. And it's like, why is that acceptable in our community? So when you live around people like that, it kind of like messes up your psyche, you know. But when you go abroad and you see your own people living functional lives, you're not seeing black men kill each other. You're not seeing black men rap about killing each other, calling themselves the N word, dressing like an idiot. Just seeing normal brothers and normal sisters that cooperate and work together. Big thing, work together. You know, that does wonders to the black man's psyche. Brothers, get out of the West, man. A huge chunk of our people are going to be destroyed in the West. I hate to say it, but it's over. It really is over for the black community in the West. I give it another 30 years until it's completely done for. But the educated brothers who have a passport, who are in tech, who are in a respectable industry, they're gonna thrive in any continent. Get out the West as soon as possible. It ain't for the educated brother. The black community don't respect us. And that's why I tell brothers, leave the black community. I'm not a part of any black community. I've left the black community 2 years ago and my life improved tremendously. All right. The black community in 2022 is a toxic hellhole. All right. If you're a nerdy black man, if you're a black man that watches anime, reads manga, that likes nerdy things, apparently you're a weirdo. You're a lame. You're an educated lame. What kind of nonsense is going on in our community? Speak on that, Johnny. Am I speaking facts here? Or am I going overboard here, brother?
Oh, bro, you're speaking 100% facts, man. I'm gonna put some money in the offering plate later today. That's how good you're preaching. It is exactly the same in America. I mean, the folks that are really revered in our community, especially growing up, people in the entertainment industry and athletes. And I'm not trying to knock, you know, the folks that are grinding it out to achieve their dreams of, becoming a positive hip hop star, or you're trying to land a scholarship, you know, to play football or basketball, and then maybe go on to the NFL or the NBA. But that is not the only path to success. It really isn't. You know what I mean? Um, you you can go into medicine, you can go into business, you can go into law, you can go into tech, right? And honestly, your odds of success are much higher in those areas, in those fields, than becoming a star athlete, because only 1% of 1% of 1% of any demographics population is going to be able to play professional sports at a high level. You know what I mean? And then with hip hop and R&B, it's kind of devolved into what it used to be. Maybe in the 70s and 80s, in the 80s and 90s, it was very, very politically conscious, and it was more positive. Now, the only thing that they're pumping out on the airwaves is, for the most part, destructive, harmful. It perpetuates the negative imagery and stereotypical black male image, black female image. It's destructive, in my opinion.
Mm.
And it's all our young people see. You know what I mean? And so if that's all they see, right, that's all they want to be. You know what I mean? Um, I, the only honestly, if you're a black guy, right, and you've got aspirations of you know uh going into medicine or law, business, tech, you know I would say after you've made it, or even before you've made it, what's really going to save your life at the end of the day is having a passport.
Wow.
That is what's going to save your life, in my opinion, because I don't think you can stay if you're a black male, right? And you're a successful one at that, and you want to be a part of a functioning, thriving community. You want to be able to create a family and then not have to worry about you know the family court system taking your livelihood away, taking your kids away, running across a woman that is basically enabled to destroy you, both mentally and emotionally and financially, right? The only way to avoid all of that is to have access to other countries where you can find more intact societies and communities filled with black men and women. And the only way that you're going to have access to that is to have a current, up to date passport. And that's what's going to save your life, honestly, because for me, like there's a part of you that it almost feels like you're, I don't know, dying might be a strong word, but like you just you know the community here is all but gone. You know what I mean? And that's part of what makes life, part of what makes life worth living, being connected
Mm.
with other well-to-do, like-minded brothers that are working towards building something greater than themselves, right? You know that want to make money, want to form businesses, right? That want to innovate. You know what I mean? Um, and successful Black men that want to find wives, that want to have children, have families, build community. It's almost impossible to do that here at this point. And that's all of what makes life worth living, at least in my opinion. Right? Otherwise, it's just not. Well, what is it all? What is it all? What is it? What is it all for? I didn't come all this way. Get all these degrees, make all this money, just to sit on the couch and watch Netflix in a high-rise apartment for the rest of my life. I am serious. I didn't. Right? I want to be a part of something greater. I want to be a part of something positive. And I just don't think that's really feasibly done in America, because the system is not, the system's not there. And the family structure is not there. And our women, they're on their own program. They are on their own program. And honestly, I think they're headed for destruction. So, what's going to save your life? If you're a black brother and you're trying to thrive, succeed, and then build something greater than yourself, what's going to save your life and make all that possible is a passport.
Wow. Thank you for that great breakdown there, Mr. Johnny. So, Mr. Iron White, I see you in the background. Do you mind turning your camera on for a couple of seconds so I know you're not a troll? That you can turn it off after. It's just to vet you that you actually are a brother, because we have a lot of trolls coming on the channel trying to come in and cause disharmony. I've got to see that you are a brother, and once you confirm that, I'll bring you one, brother. Okay? It's just a security vetting procedure. So while you do that, shout out to Mr. Russian Spies, please vote for the $5 super chat. 40 clips. I'm good on that, bro. I'm good on that nonsense, man. Keep that in America. Shout out to Mr. Baba Tandi Uluyi for the $7.99 Australian dollars. Thank you for the kind words, brother. Are you in Australia? Can you confirm to me in the live stream chat if you are in Australia, Mr. Uluyi? Hey IP, your Ethiopian and Rwandan streams were very insightful. I plan to visit both countries next year to find a cultured and feminine chick. Fantastic, man. Beautiful. See, again, that passport will save you. And brothers, please, when you get these passports, don't be a pookie. Don't be a rere. Be a respectable brother. Go there and find the woman of your dreams. Vet her. If she's good, low body count virgin, tie her down, put on your plan and live together, man, and live a great life and make plenty of babies. That's why I'm telling brothers, get into IT. Join the Patreon Diamond tier, have that one-to-one consultation with me so I can help you get into IT. Because with IT, you can work anywhere around the world. You have a global mindset. You're from America, but hey, I want to live in Japan for a couple months. I want to live in here for a couple months. Cool. You travel there, get an apartment there, you live there, you're dating wonderful women, you're living great lives, you're eating great food, and you're part of a community, the international passport community. So there's something worth living for. Okay? There's something worth living for. Well, I want to see you brothers do well, man. I want to see all you brothers do well. I want to see all you brothers become wealthy and rich and with your damn beautiful chick. Okay, but you got to put the work in and believe in yourselves, man. Disassociate yourself from useless people. A lot of people in our community, I hate to say it, Johnny, but they're useless. A lot of people in our community are absolutely useless. It's like I'm dealing with low intelligent people. I'm keeping it real with you, brothers. It's like I'm dealing with low intelligent people.
Facts.
So I had to cut them off.
Directionless, lacking guidance, not a lot of smarts. And I and this is my personal opinion. It's related to the single mother household rate. When you remove the father from the equation, right? The father is supposed to instill direction, supposed to instill values, right? They're supposed to lend guidance, discipline, supposed to provide structure, right? It was my dad that was always encouraging me to keep keep pushing in terms of education. It was my dad that was always encouraging me to take the hard route. Don't take the easy way out in terms of school. It was my dad who encouraged me to go into engineering, chemical engineering specifically. Like, it's, I have my dad to thank for, a lot of my scholastic success. I think if I was completely separated and cut off from my dad, I don't think I would have turned out the way I did, and that's the, I think the sad truth of it is, like, we Black men, I don't think are going to have as good of a set of life outcomes as they normally would in the absence of, a good, well-rounded father.
Very
What I mean?
true.
So it's going to translate. It's going to translate into, lower likelihood of graduating from high school, college, being able to land a good job, lead a stable life, form a stable family, and then lead their family to a better life. So, yeah.
Wow. And before I bring in Mr. Iron White, I want to say a huge thank you to all the incredible Black American dads. Thank you to all the Black American dads out there, because without you guys, I would never have met Theo Waff, Johnny Walker, and all the other American brothers that I know. So big shout out to all the Black American dads. You are awesome. We appreciate you and we respect you. And a big shout out to all the UK Black male dads, and all the Canadian Black male dads, and all the Australian Black men dads. You definitely are doing great work. Much appreciated.